When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Bare naked, bare naked, bare naked, ABCs. Welcome to the Bare Naked ABCs, where we discuss every single Bare Naked Lady song from 7 to Y. And joining me this evening, I have the beautiful Peace Lady herself, Heidi.
Hello! Wait, Peace Lady?
Yeah, you're peaceful. Right?
Nobody's ever called me that ever in my life. I've been called a chihuahua hyped up on espresso. I've been told I have a middle school energy, which I appreciate, frankly, but I've never been called peaceful in my life.
Oh, well, okay. Well, then maybe Betsy's our peace lady.
No, I'm more of I'm a...
Up by the highway where you pay your toll.
Really admitting that? Wow.
I'm a spicy piece of ginger.
I tilt my head to look out
well, then maybe Aaron, maybe you're
she was holding
I'm the peace dude. I'm like the dude, man. You know, I'm pretty zen.
that is actually pretty
I just
you are the dude. Well, I'm not the peace lady either, but maybe our guest this week is. This week we have our guest, Thessaly learner, also known as the Ukulady, also known as Rainbow Valentine. She is a TV and film producer, a writer, and a podcast creator.
And a voice actor.
And a musician. She does a lot of
Yeah, Tracy, Thessaly, it's wonderful to meet you. Tracy doesn't ever prep us for guests. He likes to surprise us. If I had known that a voice actor for the Silent Hill games was coming to this, I would have been like all up on it. So yeah, big fan.
Oh, hello.
What?
Oh, so you have brought nightmares to life for me. Thank you.
Yes, I forgot about that. I forgot about that. I'm a voiceover actor, which is silly because it's my bread and butter. But
That was the only video game you actually ever
Pretty legit.
I've never played it. It was a one-off game. I am best known as Lisa Garland in the Silent Hill video games. I was also the teen girl in The Sims too.
Oh, I love Sims.
Very cool.
Yeah. Slurpee, Slamochka,
You should have been here for the Simlish song we did.
Yeah.
Or Bakla, Sumachakalongo.
Awesome.
And though she's long gone, I still look to see.
Yes. Thanks for having me, you guys. I'm gonna just clarify. I am a podcast producer. And I'm totally the peace lady. I create podcasts for the downfall of evil, and I'm known for the narrative series Disorganized Crime Smuggler's Daughter, American Prankster, Wavy Gravy's life story. Wavy Gravy is a peace activist, and the best day of my life, Patch Adams' journey to the Nobel Peace Prize nomination. So those are their life stories, and and I also do a kids podcast called Sweet Tales, with the ukulele. That's my other alias, and my friend Gabby Lala, who is a sitar player and ukulele player.
Wow. Okay.
Those are some pretty intense bona fides. Yeah, thanks for slumming it with us tonight.
I'm a human. I'm a regular weird human with a giant sandwich behind,
your food accessory. You got the Frylock pendant and the kawaii Frylock.
Yeah, I'm psyched to be here with you guys to promote my new music album. That's like why I'm here. I'm just like, and when I researched you guys, listen to the Bare Naked Ladies, which I never really listened to. I was like, oh, I love this band. They're great. They're hilarious. They're ridiculous, and no wonder this crew is like, oh, the ukulele would be a good addition because I'm a weirdo.
We're all weirdos here, definitely.
Welcome. Yep.
Oh
It feels
yeah,
good.
you have to be to enjoy BNL.
Yeah, it feels good to be with my people. So, namaste.
I was just waiting for Aaron to go, oh, now they're BNL.
BNL. I'm thinking BLM, but that's
Community.
that's free camping land.
Yes,
Aaron knows my
yeah.
community reference on that one.
But I came around just like Jeff.
That's right. So tonight we're going to be discussing the song "The Peace Lady." If you have never heard this song before, here is a brief snippet.
Growing up in Toronto, I'd ride with my parents wherever they'd go. She was always there above the DVP, holding her peace sign for all to see. The Peace Lady.
It is from the album "The Tour de Force." I had a 50-50 chance of getting that right. I didn't have it written down this week.
Wow, good job. I'm so proud of you.
Give yourself a pat
And I
on
got
the
it
back.
wrong.
Oh no, okay.
Because it's not.
I rescind that pat on the
It's
back.
actually from In Flight.
Gentle.
It's actually the last song off from In Flight. And Tyler says that it is his favorite song on the demos, and that it is the perfect ending to the album. Tyler really loved the rain drum. He said that it was very relaxing to him. He said it's been the calmest that he's been in 10 years.
He's the drummer.
Who's Tyler?
So Tyler is the drummer.
Are you guys friends with him?
I
I
wish.
mean, he's a friendly guy. but
He's
I don't
peripherally aware of our
In your
existence.
hearts?
We don't text him,
Yet.
but
I like your optimism.
Tyler, we know you listen. Come on the show.
Well,
I actually heard of it because they put out a track by track of the behind the scenes for this album, and that's one of the things that he said during this.
I thought it was a gorgeous song. So I did my homework, and my man Panyan, the Ukulady, was like, you need to listen to these two songs, and where were you in the 90s? Why haven't you heard these songs? And I was like, I was listening to the Indigo Girls and Fish, embarrassingly enough. I don't know how I didn't hear these songs. They're great. And then we listened to The Peace Lady, which is so beautiful and lovely and heartfelt, and I teared up a little. It was so touching. It's a lovely tune.
Yeah, and I wasn't aware of the Peace Lady until I heard the song, and then I Googled her and I found out all this interesting information about her life story. So, very cool.
Like what? Tell us.
Well, Tracy is the main researcher here. I'm sure he'll have more to tell. But my understanding is that she stood out above a major highway in the Toronto area. Is it the DVP?
Yep, Don Valley Parkway.
And she would make the peace sign, and essentially, not a lot of people knew what she was trying to do. They're like, is she blessing the cars, whatever? But she was literally attempting to unite the world under one single religion and promoting peace, which is really interesting. And she lived kind of an ascetic lifestyle where she was out in the wilderness for 15 years, I want to say, something like that. And she was just
25
camping out, and then she would just go and stand almost all day just by the bridge giving people the peace sign. And it's there's something really heroic and weirdly I don't know, it's just really kind of an interesting thing to do, and to dedicate your life to doing that and to just be so steadfast really caught it's just very interesting.
Yeah, that's dedication.
Yeah, a very interesting lady. I'm going to post in our liner notes the obituary about her that was written by the Toronto Sun, I believe, and I'll be using several quotes from that article. And she's an amazing woman. So her name was Pauline Davis, and she lived in the ravine in a lean-to in the woods near Leslie and Shepard for 25 years by her own choice. The lean-to was actually a really surprisingly cheery blue tarped tent that she decorated with artificial flowers and outfitted with a small table and chairs. in a romantic 4-poster bed that she built from metal tubing and gauzy mosquito netting.
Wow.
I love her.
Yeah, just the sheer will to do that, you know.
For her meals, she used a 2-burner propane stove and a cooler. Her washroom was a nearby TTC station, and a downtown drop-in center was her place to shower and collect her mail.
Wait, let's pause for 1 second. She's doing this in Toronto in the winter?
Yep.
All year, I think.
For 25 years.
Oh my God, is she like a snow lady? Like a snowman? A snow woman?
She
That's
pretty
crazy.
much abandoned all normal all life, normal life, that what we would call, and went and lived in this ravine in Toronto for 25 years, and that was what in every day she would go up to one of the bridges and she would wear her white flag, wear her white billowing robes, and carry a white flag and give the peace sign.
Oh my God, I love her. And I love that she lived in a ravine.
I know,
it's
right?
so romantic. It's like so dramatic. Yeah. Better than like a underpass. Ravine.
Yeah, you would think like when it's raining, she would want to get. No, she would be there whether it was raining, snowing, warm temperatures, cold. She was out there every single day.
Tell us more. Did she have children? Did she have a partner?
She
a
did.
Pet?
She actually left her children, and one of the things that her daughter said was that sorry, I'm trying to find the spot was. Well, I'll get to that part. Yes, because it doesn't make sense to get to that right at the second. But so she died in 2017 at the age of 74. At that point she retired from giving her message to everyone because with the advent of cell phones, the cops were very quick to chase her away, and they weren't too happy with the near pileups that she was supposedly causing the motorists that wanted to take pictures of her. Although, so the DVP is known as the Don Valley Parkway, but it's also colloquially known as the Don Valley parking lot because it constantly has so many vehicles on it. So I don't think that the Peace Lady was the cause of this. They had constant pile-up issues anyways. I feel bad that they were blaming her for it.
Right.
The message was so important for her that she left her 3 children for more than 25 years and set up in the wilderness. And she believed that she was fated to bring about peace by bringing all religions together.
I mean, so she was totally out of her mind. We love that, though.
Yeah.
Leaving her kids, though, is kind of like, girl, I'm not, on board with that. And that's what tells me you're totally fucking out of your mind.
Yeah.
Alexa, set studio
Toward
overhead
the
to
end,
magenta.
her family came around. So her granddaughter reported that she'd been hit by a car many years before that, and after that she kept getting sick, which is actually what led to her dying.
So she wasn't hit by a car and it made her, go be the Peace Lady and, leave her family?
No.
Okay.
She died. She got hit by a car during the process of being the Peace Lady, and then she didn't recover very well after that. That was in around 2013, and so then she had to pack up her tent and return to civilization. She met a very kind man named Ray, and they moved in together in a cozy little house. And
did she fall in love? Were they in love?
Yeah.
In her old age? That's very inspiring.
Yeah. She
God.
played cards, went to the casino, joined the family more often at Christmas and Easter.
Glad to hear that.
And then she maintained a Peace Lady website and shared her message where she could. She physically couldn't stand on bridges anymore, but she was happy, her daughter said. Her daughter,
what a lovely tribute.
Her daughter's name was Bette Davis, funnily enough. And
Does she have Betty Davis eyes?
What?
After
Hold on. Back up.
and and not the Betty Davis, obviously. The ages would be a little off there. But Miss Davis said that after she met Ray, she was like a teenager again, laughing and giggling, and it was really great because she had been single forever. She said it was difficult growing up with a mother who walked the streets in white robes preaching peace. Early on, people thought that her mom was crazy, and they tried to have her committed to a mental hospital. She says, when you're 17, you're just like, you're weird. She's like, but now that I'm 55, I kind of get it.
Well, what's Ray's story?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like who's Ray? Like, you know, how did the person to fall in love with her? That's interesting too. Like,
I know. I want to know more about that too. I didn't find anything more in this article, unfortunately.
I have to. I mean, this is. I'm kind of a teen filthy person, but I'm like, were they getting it on? Like, I'm curious. I want to know. I'm sorry. What do you guys think?
If the tenses are rocking, don't bother knocking.
Yeah, maybe they're big into nature and they're exhibitionists or something.
Maybe.
More power to them. Right? I mean, to the point of her daughter saying, you know, when she was 55, she kind of got it. It's like, you only have one life and it belongs to you, so use it the way you want and do what you want to do. I kind of love it. Mm-hmm. Peace.
Now, I would have thought that she didn't have money, that she was living without any way of living, but she was actually working cleaning houses and could always afford shelter. She actually even funded her granddaughter's college tuition.
Wow, that's cool. That's cool.
Fascinating.
So this
I
is
just
just
keep
a way
thinking
that
how cold it is.
Yeah, she just chose to live this way, and to choose to live that way in the freezing cold of Toronto is just amazing.
Yeah, I'd live in a lean-to in a ravine in Baja, you know, but
yeah,
not
it's
in
a different
Toronto.
story.
Yeah. Great. I love it.
Yeah, I was one of those ones like I'm gonna deep dive, and then I'm gonna be like, I don't want to talk about any of this, but I was like, the more I read about her, the more I wanted to learn more about her.
Well, I love how
it's a great story. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I love how major cities usually have like their characters. You know what I mean? Like you go to a place and you're like, oh, that's the Unipiper or whatever. He drives a unicycle and he plays a flaming bagpipe. You know, it's like they're just those people, and like that's what they do. And it's like you know. These personalities, you know, you grow up. I would imagine, you know, if Ed was with his parents driving on the highway, they're gonna see her like quite frequently. And so he's like, "Who's that?" "Oh, it's the Peace Lady," you know. And it's like, okay, or he just, or I guess Kevin probably wrote this song, but yeah, I mean,
yes, he did.
Yeah,
I just love the idea, and like you said, you made a lasting impression on me, right? It's like you did help to change the world, and I think you said something like, you know, the world is a better place with people like you in it. Which I love that sentiment.
That what you just said was fantastic, and I want to know if you grew up in a town with a flaming bagpiper riding a unicycle.
The Unipiper is a real person. I can't recall. I don't think he's from Portland. I think maybe he visited Portland. Do you know, Tracy? I want to say we have someone similar, or we had someone similar. We had that person who put up like heart signs everywhere.
The heart sign guy?
Yeah.
Yep.
I love that. You guys are all from Maine, right?
Most of us.
Okay. Where are you from, Heidi?
I'm the odd woman out.
And who was your local
New Hampshire
person?
Right next door. You know, it's funny because we had a lady in town. Gosh, she was the most wonderful. I live in a town of 6,000 people, so it's a very small town. We had one stoplight, and when I first interviewed, now I live here. I've lived here for 20 plus years. But when I first interviewed for the high school music teacher position here, I was driving up to the high school. I had never been to this town before. And I'm coming up the street, and there's this little old lady, Alida. I found out where's her name, Eleda. And she's just waving to everybody going down the street. And she had to be in her late 70s at the time. And I'm like, I'm driving. I'm like, what kind of town is this? She was just so friendly and so sweet. And so I was like, this is definitely a town I think I could teach and grow and buy a house in. And so I did. And she passed away several years ago now in her 90s, but she was the mom of a lady that went to my church as well. So I got to know Alita really well, but she walked every day all over town. She waved to everybody. And one day she knocks on my door because she had to use the bathroom. So out of the blue, this Alita just knocks on my door in this very rural area with lots of houses, very separated. She had to walk like 5 to 10 miles a day. She walked all the time, but she always was the waving lady. Like she just waved to everybody. So people that were coming in were like, "Who's that lady that just waves to everybody on School Street?" I was like, "Oh, that's Mrs. Stafford. That's Alita." Like it was just so. I think every town has that person.
We had someone. So I grew up in the Bay Area in Marin County, California, with like all counterculture people, and we had someone we called him Dirt Man. And he was Dirt Man, and we would see him every weekend at the flea market. We had this incredible flea market, and Dirt Man wore all black leather, and he was filthy. Like he was caked in dirt, and he was barefoot, and he was caked in bare feet, just covered in dirt, and he had a dirt wife and a dirt child. And recently, I've been making these podcasts about the counterculture and my family and this region, and I reached out to like my Facebook peeps. I was like, "Who remembers Dirt Man?" And everybody remembered Dirt Man. This is in Sausalito, California. And so I was like thinking about Dirt Man. I was talking to my sister about Dirt Man, and she texted me like a month ago, and she's like, "I'm on Haight Street. You're not going to believe who I saw." And I was like, shut the fuck up. She saw Dirt Man on Haight Street. It's 35 years later. Wow. Like we haven't seen Dirt Man in 35 years. He's still out there. And her revelation was that he was a bicyclist, a biker, and he had a bike shop. Like,
we're going to get to a bike shop person in a little bit.
Excited. So that was our Peace Lady, I guess.
Well, Aaron, I looked up what you talked to me about.
Unipiper is from Portland, Oregon.
Yes.
Sorry, not Portland, Maine.
So for our people who are listening, this is a person wearing, I'm going to guess, a Boba Fett skirt, a very Boba Fett like bottom, riding a unicycle, wearing a Darth Vader top and a Darth Vader mask, playing bagpipes on the unicycle that with, I would say, a good 5-foot flames coming out of the top of each of these pipes. Like, and by the way, the Unipiper does have a TikTok and Instagram and their own website.
Oh, he's kind of fabulous. I love him.
Unipiper, we know you listen. Come on the show.
Yeah, just reach out. People like to talk. Look at me. Betsy, who is your person in your town?
No one specific. Hold on, my tongue's not working. No one specific.
Betsy was that person.
Yeah, I just had a tooth out, so I'm not really talking too clearly. No, I mean we had some townies, but nobody specific like Unipiper. Everybody was just nice. Yep.
I think when I retire, I want to become that person, though.
Like, you certainly could be, yeah.
I want to be like, maybe I just put a lawn chair down in the corner of the intersection and be like, all day long, and be like, peace it out. Yeah. Or wear my inflatable dinosaur costume, or my inflatable unicorn costume, or my inflatable wacky inflatable tube band costume. I could do any of those. Or my inflatable. I have like 7, so I could. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll just do it on the college campus, like every day.
There you go.
Like I did that the first day of school. The kids didn't know what to do.
Become like an unofficial mascot.
Yeah.
And you could take your instrument out every day, a new instrument every day with a new
She has enough instruments.
The hard part is I only have one of the inflatables that I can actually play an instrument with because all of them go over your body. But I do have an inflatable.
The T-Rex arms are too short.
I have the one that you climb into the dinosaur, so it's like you're riding a dinosaur. So I had to buy that one because we did a parade and the pep band at the college, we did a whole Jurassic Park theme, and I was playing mellophone with them for fun. So I had to be able to march and play, so I bought that one special. You can find just
So
about
keep
anything.
your eyes out in 15 years for the crazy dinosaur lady of New Hampshire.
I love
20. I can't afford to retire in 15.
You could get started early. You could just start like massaging
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I'll just, it'll be a summer thing. I can do it in the summer. It'll be great.
There you
Make sure you get like one of those air conditioned or like a fan in the
Heck yeah.
costume.
Heck yeah. But or I could be naked cowboy. I don't want to go there. No. Okay.
That's somebody in Austin, Texas, right? I think that's already.
No, New York.
Manhattan.
He's in Manhattan.
Yeah.
I've seen him a few times of course he's always there whenever I brought high school students there. And then I'd be like, and the creepy dirty Elmo was always there, and I'd be like, don't even engage, because they're just gonna want your money. Don't engage. Creepy blue who's the blue?
Yeah.
Well, Elmo, Grover? But they also had Grover, creepy Grover, and they were so gross and dirty. Creepy Mickey Mouse, creepy Spider-Man. But I'm like, don't engage. Just don't engage. Yeah. There's a lot in Manhattan and Times Square. You've got to be careful.
There used to be a lot in Berkeley, California, too, and a lot of them were naked, naked old hippies.
Yeah, they'll rub up against you.
Ew. Gross.
Ew.
Oh,
I'm like,
not without consent.
Personal bubble.
Folks.
Personal bubble.
Yeah. Personal space. Respect it.
I don't think the Peace Lady would have gotten up in anybody's space, I think.
No, she was happy just to be peaceful.
I love old hippies.
Peace.
She had a peaceful, easy feeling.
They are dedicated. Like, they changed the world in the 60s and 70s, and they're like, I'm still going strong. I love that.
Hello, Pantheon Podcast listeners. Christian Swain here to tell you more about my experience with Raycon earbuds. Our family now has 3 pairs of Raycon earbuds around the house, and my wife just grabbed a pair of the Headphone Pros to replace some headphones from a company that was double the price. And yes, she loves them. Now, if you haven't pulled the trigger on a pair of Raycons, or even if you have, but you're in the market for another pair because they're just that good, well, now is the time to check them out, because they just launched their upgraded model of the best-selling everyday earbuds. With Raycon's upgraded everyday earbuds, now you also get active noise cancellation, ergonomic design, and multi-point connectivity that lets you pair with 2 devices at once. New quick charge function, 3 customizable sound styles, plus awareness mode. Available in a variety of vibrant new colors to complement any and all skin tones. I even have a pair of earbuds in a cool green color. I have tried just about every earbud known to humankind, and these Raycons are fantastic. Seriously, if you've been wanting to check out Raycons, there truly is no better time. You're going to ask yourself why you didn't check them out sooner, and Raycon offers a 30-day happiness guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Go to buyraycon.com/Pantheon today to get 20% off your Raycon order, plus free shipping. That's right, you'll get 20% off and free shipping at buyraycon.com/Pantheon. buyraycon.com/Pantheon.
Well, have you guys seen a picture of the Peace Lady yet?
No.
I should probably share a picture so we know who we're talking about with this song.
I love her. Look at her. Ooh, she's got all religious symbols on her smock.
Yeah.
He reminds me of Granny D. Do you New Englanders? You know who Granny D was, right?
I don't.
So Granny D was. She ran for president like a million times. She was, she passed away. Her name was Doris Haddock. She was from Dublin, New Hampshire, little tiny Dublin town. She passed away in 2010. She lived to 100.
Wow.
But she was one of these, she walked everywhere, huge political activist. She campaigned against like the hydrogen bomb, and then she kept running for president. Like but she was just totally like the Peace Lady. She looks like her. She always had this hat and this look and this cane. She drove over 22, what was it? She drove all over the country to get people registered to vote, targeting women and minorities. She was like this huge, but way hippie, but very much about being civically minded. And so she was kind of, I think, the New Hampshire version of the Peace Lady in so many ways, because you saw her everywhere. But she was all over the place. She wasn't just in one place.
Love it. She also looked like Granny Goose. And she looks like this lady who walks around. I live in Atlanta now, and she walks around this neighborhood, and we call her Old Miss Muffet. Old Miss Muffet. Yeah. It's a look.
Now I want to look that up.
I don't think she's look upable. we never blogged about her. We should have. Yeah.
These people deserve to be.
Well, I'm sharing it now. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, there are lots of interesting.
There was when I first moved to Atlanta, I was shocked to see this dude, an old Confederate, driving in this truck with a massive Confederate flag, and he's like known around Atlanta. He's just like carries this massive Confederate flag and just like jogs down the street hatefully. Total dick. But
we have that up here.
Oh, you do? You have the Confederate flag, dude?
Yeah.
But like this guy was like he was like the peace lady, but dedicated to hate.
Weirdly,
he's the
enough,
anti-peace lady.
Boy, lady.
There are weird people in Maine driving around with Confederate flags, which I'm never quite.
Y'all ever hear about
LS.
Chamberlain? He was from Maine.
Yep.
He didn't fight for the rebels. Nope. Spoiler alert.
Hate to be the first to tell you.
Speaking of Maine, oh my God, I just finished this journal of a Civil War fighter from Maine. It was riveting. It was this soldier from Maine who kept a daily journal. It was totally, fascinating. I'll send it to you, unless I put it in a little lending library.
Yeah,
it was
I'd
great.
be curious to read that.
Yeah, I'll look around. It was really well written, in 1862. It's like, well done, sir.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm going to bring us back to this song specifically.
Herding the cats. Herding the cats.
Lady. The tower.
The Don Valley Parkway. We've talked about the Don Valley Parkway in the past because this one of the bridges that's on the Don Valley Parkway is actually the bridge that inspired Stephen for the song War on Drugs.
Oh.
And part of me also wonders if this is the ravine that Ed was writing about with the shopping cart in the ravine with Light Up My Room.
Interesting.
You guys are
That is interesting.
Bare naked lady, experts.
Oh, heck yeah.
How did you find each other? Is this a chat room discovery?
Yep, we all said ASL. Favorite band, ASL.
That takes me back.
Yeah. Way back.
Yeah, you're old friends from the 90s who used to get bonded then.
Tracy and I go way back, and when he first started doing this podcast, he invited me on because I went to school for music, and I like to analyze music and think about the chord changes and the structure and stuff like that. I wasn't actually a huge Bare Naked Ladies fan when I first started. I didn't dislike them. I just didn't know very much. I knew a few of their songs.
Hater.
They're like, okay, I like them. Yeah, I wasn't drinking Haterade, but I wasn't a fanatic. But it's interesting because now we've gone through almost their entire catalog, and I've found quite a few songs that I really do truly love by this band. So it's been a cool journey for me. Heidi and Betsy.
I invited myself on. Look, I like your podcast. Can I add something?
I'm so glad that you both came on. There was too much testosterone in here. We needed.
Yes.
Well, I was commuting. I commute now 2 hours each way to work. I teach at a little university in Vermont, and so I commute 2 hours each way. And I listen to podcasts almost exclusively. So I'd listen to a bunch, and I was like, you know what? And I've been a huge fan since '95 of the Bare Naked Ladies. So I've seen them 15 times and stuff. So I was like, I wonder if there's a podcast about BNL. So I'm going through and I picked I found 3 of them, and this one was the one I liked the most because of Aaron, because I'm a musician and a music professor, and I was I listened to several episodes, and finally I was like, I love this podcast so much. I started at the beginning and just kept going, and I emailed the box of the Bare Naked Ladies, whatever it was, message. And I said, I just want to say, I love the show. I love the analysis of the music and all the things. And so Tracy reaches out. He's like, hey, do you want to be on the show for one of the songs? Here's the spreadsheet. Pick a song. So I came on for one of the songs. And then that night they were like, hey, can you just come back every week? I was like, be a host? yay! So, and that was, I think, in 2020, 2019. I don't know. It was before the pandemic.
20, yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I came to them very late. And then Betsy was a kind of sort of sometimes guest, and then we just figured, that was the other thing I had said very clearly, because they had done one song and I disagreed completely with them because it's a song called In the Car. And I was like, you need a women's voice on this because you don't get it. You don't get it. It was Mantown City up in here. And I was like, no. So, because they had a woman and whoops, dogs.
Yeah, Michelle was on.
Michelle was great. And then she wasn't on anymore. And I was like, you need women. So now we're balanced. There is balance in the force.
Love this crew. Like, this is the crew this is the Ride or Die crew.
Yeah.
So, Betsy, do you remember what was your first episode?
I think it was, let's see.
Not to put you on the spot. I'm just curious.
I think I started, I know I did On the Lookout. So it was somewhere around On the Lookout.
I have your first one down as Off the Hook.
Oh.
Okay, the O's.
The
okay, yep.
And then you did On the Lookout. Then you came back for Peterborough, and then you were like a guaranteed every week.
And then you confirmed my every week at the concert. You're like, you should just be on
Betsy
every time.
has perfect attendance.
Just about.
As someone who has far from perfect attendance, I tip my hat to you.
Life happens.
Betsy's,
right?
like I said, ride or die. But good crew we have assembled here.
Pretty solid.
Well, why don't we talk about the lyrics of this song, and then we'll flip over to the music, because we're kind of already in the lyrics. There are a lot of really interesting characters that Kevin keeps alluding to in this song that we don't know much about.
Yeah, the bicycle thief man and the lawn chair lady or whatever.
The first thing he mentions is Peter, or by the rainbow where Peter found his pot of gold. I'm guessing that he's talking about a childhood friend at that point, because I could find nothing online about that. So that's got to be a childhood thing. But yes, then we come to the next one that he mentions is the chair girl. I was like, I'm not going to find anything about the chair girl. Well, guess what? The chair girl is an actual person.
Who is she?
The refrigerator.
So
do tell.
The next couple people are not exactly positive influences on the Toronto scene. So the chair girl is a Toronto woman by the name of Marcella Zoya. She was age 20, and she threw a chair from a high-rise balcony onto the Gardiner Expressway in Toronto in 2019. It was caught on camera and posted online, got hundreds of thousands of views, and she was sentenced to 2 years probation, 150 hours of community service, and fined $2,000 Canadian dollars.
For rage, huh?
Whoa!
I mean, she's in Canada, so it's probably just dollars.
What's that, $5 US?
No, it's the exchange rate on that.
I think their money's worth more than ours right now, so I don't.
I'm
not going to slate them.
I was just
Last I checked, it was around 2/3.
Oh yeah, do you guys go to Canada all the time? Because you live so near. Go get your maple syrup.
Yeah. Well, one of the interesting things when I meet people who grew up in New England is there's like PBS, right, public broadcasting. We had NPBN here in Maine Public Broadcasting Network, and they would purchase the rights to show a lot of like children's educational programming that was produced in Canada. So I grew up watching all these Canadian TV shows, and then when I would meet people from like not in the New England region, I'd be like, oh, you remember the Polka Dot Door? You remember Today's Special growing up? And they're like, what are you talking about? I've never heard of these shows in my life. But it's cool. We have kind of this interesting, because we live so close, to our Canadian neighbors, we do get a lot of tourists and we do come up and travel. It's harder now. Back before COVID and, back before you needed a passport, you could just, you have a driver's license or whatever, they just let you through and it would be a lot easier to drive through.
Great. Well, let's go back to the chair lady. The chair.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Wait. Yeah. I just assumed she was like
cares
sitting.
about the chair lady. Come on.
And
it'd be great if it was like
kind of like the peace
a
lady.
big lazy boy.
But she threw a
Just chucked
chair. Did the story come out as to what caused that?
Nope. She has not released why. She has not talked about why she threw it.
She was trying to become a professional wrestler.
Maybe. I don't know. I do have the video that went viral.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh, she looks...
Okay, so it's not a Barco Launcher. Good.
Yeah.
Oh, that is fucking dangerous.
I mean, that could really
oh my
hurt someone.
God, what a bitch.
Yeah, I am.
Very
Wow.
stupid.
So she was on the 45th floor when she threw it.
Yeah, I at first when you read the sentence, I was like, that seems a little harsh, but I just thought it was like
that's not
like
okay.
a 10-foot drop, and it was like an abandoned overpass or something. No, I'm actually kind of that seems
could
lenient.
Kill somebody. And she looks like she's high on meth. I don't like her.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
I prefer the peace lady.
Fuck that lady. Fuck chair lady.
FCL.
Yeah, I get why he's, I remember the chair girl, but I'll vote for the peace lady. Yeah, me too. Thank you, Kevin.
What about the bicycle thief?
So the bicycle
thief man.
Another one that I was like, oh, I'm not gonna find anything. No, actually, so I think that he is referring to Igor Kenk, who was known since 2008 as the most infamous and prolific bicycle thief in the world. He stole more than 3,000 bicycles that were recovered in police raids.
That's
what a claim to fame.
This is exciting. This is exciting. Like, I feel like you're just giving trivia tidbits that are riveting and weird, and I love it. Thank you.
So Kenk was long known for operating the shop called the Bicycle Clinic, which was a repair shop on Queen Street, West Toronto in Ontario. And in 1993, he was charged with the offense of possession of stolen property when they confiscated 140 bikes at his shop. But the charges were dismissed. Well, the police could never come up with proof. However, they would often say, if you've lost your bike, you should go check out this shop first. And then finally in 2008, they raided the Bicycle Clinic, and the fire department did not allow them to enter the building for safety reasons because he had so many things in the store. When he opened the door in the morning, he literally things would roll out and fall out onto the street.
We're major hoarder.
Set it up. A bit, yeah. They actually had to remove the upper floor windows and lower the bicycles down to the street by a rope. The police then went to garages and warehouses owned by him across the city and found 2,865 bikes that have been stolen.
That's how many they found. Think about how many he's stolen in his life.
Wow, so he was a compulsive weirdo.
Because he must be. Yeah, actually, that kind of does beg the question. Like, was he fencing them, or was he just hoarding them? Like,
I mean, people who have gone into his shop said they would buy stuff if they could find it.
They basically buy their bike back.
Buy their bike back, yeah.
Wow, what a racket!
After he was released from jail, he moved to Switzerland, so he is no longer living in Canada.
He's now stealing watches and army knives.
Chocolate.
It takes a lot less room. They wrote a graphic novel about him in 2010 because they felt like he was not portrayed very nicely in the public eye.
I mean, kind of for cause.
The Bare Naked Ladies did a graphic novel about him? Okay.
No, I'm actually putting in the liner notes.
That'd be interesting.
An interview with the people who wrote this graphic novel. It's called Kenk, a Graphic Portrait.
What? This song is rich.
Okay, can you spell the last name? It sounds like you're saying kink. K?
Yeah. Kenk. Kenk. Kenk.
Oh.
So this...
Yeah, it's hard to.
It's kink with an E.
Hank,
It's
this,
kink E.
all these stories about this song lead me to ask you guys the question, since I am not a Bare Naked Lady expert like you guys. Are all the Bare Naked Lady songs so easily researched and biographical?
No.
No, but they do frequently refer to, like, we just did a song recently called "See the Tower," which was about a famous tower in Toronto. So, like, they do refer to the Canadian landscape, and they refer to the provinces and various cities, and they do refer sometimes to controversial actions. Like, what was the one, Tracy, about? See, this is the thing. I'm not an aficionado. The one about were they putting up
Invisible fence.
like an amusement park?
That one was the Township of King.
Oh yeah.
Township of King. Because they were, like, basically bulldozing a bunch of really beautiful nature to put in an amusement park. So they wrote a song about that. So they do refer to these things that you can research, but it varies greatly. And sometimes they're intensely personal and you have no idea what they mean, and they leave you to figure it out. It's kind of nice. They have a very broad catalog, both stylistically speaking
Have
and
they written a
lyrically.
song about the giant maple syrup heist in Canada that I saw a documentary about on my way to Montreal?
Yeah, that's a thing.
No.
That's a thing.
But now I want to write a song about the great molasses flood of Boston.
There already is
Aaron, you
one.
need to write
The
that,
Dead
and Kevin,
Milkmen
we know
both.
you listen.
The
You
Dead
need to-
Milkmen already wrote that, Aaron. Did you not know that?
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I
No,
just
I'll have
did
to
it with
listen to
my
that.
American History through music class. We studied
Oh,
all
awesome.
of these disaster
Oh,
ballads.
that's so cool.
And
I love that idea.
The Dead Milkmen.
Can I audit that class?
Yes, the Dead Milkmen also discussed the Dresden Dolls in that song.
I think you can.
Hell yeah.
2 for 1.
Shout out to Amanda Palmer.
You
We
could
know you
still
listen.
write
Come on the
a
show.
song
show.
about this. There cannot be enough songs about the great molasses issue in Boston.
Oh,
True.
right,
It's a
that is very
fascinating-
true.
fascinating
And that's not the best song either. So I think we could do it better, Aaron. We got to team up. That's what we got to do.
Okay,
And
I'm on
Thessaly-
board.
We can team up with Thessaly.
To answer your question, Thessaly, like, Kevin, we know you listen. You need to write a song about the maple syrup.
Yeah, it was like millions and
situation
millions of
up in
dollars in maple
Kent.
syrup. Like apparently all the maple syrup people
Wow.
bring their maple syrup to some giant Canadian.
Like a
Yeah, it's like their cartel.
It's a warehouse,
Yeah, a thing.
yeah.
And some they went into this. The officials, the maple syrup
You're like,
officials, went in.
Shit, where's the
And it was
syrup?
gone, and it was
I
replaced with
love
water.
this.
Dude, where's my syrup?
It's a ridiculous and fantastically Canadian.
This is, that just makes life so much more magical that there was a great maple syrup heist. Why don't we have a movie about this? Make this the new Ocean's 14 or whatever it is.
No, this is the new Canadian bacon.
That's a good. I love Canadian bacon jokes. Well done. How about have they written a song about Tim Hortons?
They've referenced Tim, I believe. I think they've said Tim.
Oh, yes.
I love Canadians. I have to admit. I know the Canadian national anthem. I just feel like Canada's so cool. Like they have great health insurance.
Yeah. Very chill. Yeah, there's a lot to love about Canada, certainly.
So there is one more name that's in this song, Johnny Barnes. He says, so here's to you, Pauline, and Johnny Barnes, too. Pauline is, of course, the Peace Lady. He's referring directly to her. But Johnny Barnes was John James Randolph Adolphus Mills,
Nice
also
name.
known as Johnny Barnes. He was a Bermudan native who was who waved at passing traffic at the foot of the lane roundabout in Hamilton, Bermuda, from 3:45 a.m. to 10 a.m. every workday, rain or shine. He is listed in guidebooks and has had 2 documentary films of him.
Was he?
He's known for waving and saying, "I love you, God loves you."
Was he on Real People? Remember that show, Real People?
From
nobody,
like the 80s?
nobody
From the
remembers
80s
Real
maybe?
People.
Yeah.
Yeah, Real People. I swear to gosh, he was that guy. They had that guy on there. I swear to gosh.
Well, you've become a staple of the community when people start giving directions and they're like, yeah, turn right at the waving guy. Get off at the second accident of the roundabout. He'll be there, don't worry.
He'll be there.
He always is.
Well, that's the thing. Because of the way the island is laid out and the way the roads are laid out,
It's like the
every
central
driver
nexus.
Yep, every driver at rush hour would see him if they were coming from the western and southern parts of the island.
I wish that I could dedicate myself to something like that. I need to focus on
It's
my
not
my
too late.
willpower here.
You're alive.
The abs.
You're
It's
a
not too
Mitsu.
late. It's true.
The abs.
I
on
could
these-
be
The
the next
abs?
piece
Do they have
lady.
good abs?
They must have just
I
to
would
stand
imagine.
that long.
Yeah, they must have a good
Hey,
size.
are we breaking this?
Yeah, but
Core strength.
adductors.
Are we breaking this down? Are we doing the
Yeah,
we should probably do a breakdown. Give us a musical breakdown.
breakdown? I
And Aaron.
had one earlier today. A breakdown. Okay, so Aaron, did you do breakdown too?
Yeah.
Okay,
You want to open
well,
or
Yeah, I can do. Okay, so the Peace Lady, Kevin Hearn, who's my absolute fave. So the basic form of the song, you have a slight intro, just a little intro. You've got verse 1, chorus, verse 2, chorus, bridge, interlude, bridge 2, verse 3, chorus. So it's and an outro. So you've got an ABAB kind of thing going on. So it's pretty, and then you've got that added little interlude. I like it when they add a little interlude. It's like Mrs. Dash. I have it in B flat. Do you have it in B flat?
B flat major? I had.
I have it in B flat major, and it goes basically starts on the 1 chord, goes to
Yep.
E flat major 7, I think.
Yes.
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 B, C, D, E. So you've got a 1 chord to a 4 chord to a 1 chord to a 4 chord, and he basically stays there most of the song.
Most of the song.
Except he does shift, I believe, with there's a C minor 7 in there.
Yes. No. 100%.
At the end of verse 2, he's going back from the 1 chord to the 4 chord to the 1 chord to the 4 chord, and then he shifts to a C minor 7, which is a 2 chord, a minor 2/7 chord. So the second, it's a chord that started on the 2nd degree of the B flat major scale, which is a minor triad in the key of B flat major. But then the only other big change is in the bridge, and there are 2 bridges. Very interesting for the Peace Lady to have 2 bridges. Bridge of Peace, maybe. I don't know.
Appropriate.
So in the bridge, it shifts in, and you have a G minor chord to an F. Do you think that goes modal, or does that just stay in the B flat key but shifts?
They're all diatonic, so I don't know.
Yeah, because it's a minor 6
yeah.
to a 5.
I tend to think that it's staying in B flat, but he's just kind of he's being a little jazzy.
That makes sense because it goes from a 6 chord to a 5 chord to a 4 chord to a minor 2 chord. So it's going down the stairs.
He ends on that same C minor, which is a really nice turnaround. I like that. It's unusual.
Too.
It's not poppy. It's more jazzy.
No, and I love the descending chord kind of feel of that.
That's really beautiful. When you go from the B flat to the E flat major 7,
Yeah.
it's got a really nice quality to it. Oh, did you recognize the gospel song that I'm pretty sure they're intentionally referencing?
Oh my gosh. I'm not sure. Did I?
Tracy, can you play like the first few seconds of the song?
Yes. Please.
Yep, I can do that. Hold on 1 second. Let me pull it up.
Because when I first heard the opening chords, I was like, "Oh, is this going to be like gospel?" And then I was like, "No, it's not." But I think there is an intentional reference.
Na, 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 na.
Oh, got it.
Oh, yes.
It's Amazing Grace.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
I gotta say, this chord and song breakdown conversation is the most joyfully nerdy, adorable conversation I've ever been witness to. It's so cute.
Yeah, we love nerding out over
We
it.
do.
The joyful nerd, it's fantastic. And you're just like a ping pong game of ping pong, ping. It's amazing.
It's actually great because it used to be just Aaron geeking out, and we were sitting there trying to listen and learn. And then Heidi came in, and now I just watch them go back
amazing.
and forth. And I'm like,
You
learning.
think that's
We bring a
Mixolydian? No, I think
teaching
it's
part.
Ludonite.
Yeah.
Trivium.
Ludonite? But we also teach people in the podcast. So when we discuss mine, we're like, so this is how a triad is created, and if we go into a mode, we've had to do modes a few times. So it's really nice.
It's delightful. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching you guys. Wow.
But I love what Kevin's doing here. I really do. I love a lot about what the structure of this song and how he does it. I like it better than the Tower.
Yeah, I do too. It's in my quite arguably possibly my favorite time signature. I'm calling it 12/8. Would you concur?
I would concur that it's 12/8, which 12/8 it sounds like 4/4 audience because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you could count it in 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and
it's divisible by both 4 and 3, and depending on how you subdivide it, you could change the feel.
Exactly. So I concur with you. What do you have for BPM?
Well, assuming we're counting eighth notes, which I am because I'm calling it 12/8, I would say 140 beats per minute.
I would agree with that. And it sits right in there, so it's very nice. Yeah. And that would be the breakdown with A&H.
I've never had a favorite. What'd you say? Time signature. I mean, I hang with a lot of musicians. Like, my favorite time signature is 12/8. Is that what you said? I think you did.
Like my favorite key is the key of D minor because it's the saddest of all keys.
It's the saddest of all keys. It truly is.
You're coming out with yes, it is.
Nice catch.
Woo!
Nigel Tufnell.
No, you could
Christopher Guest.
Yes.
The sustain on this. You could just go out and get a bite and come back and anyway. I love that movie so much.
Do I. Pantheon is doing a tribute album. Did you hear this news?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's
me and my music partner Gabby Lala are going to listen to the flower, what the flower people say.
Oh, their hippie song. I love that.
Oh,
that's so
my
great.
God, I love that so much. They're coming out with a 2. Did you hear that? They're coming out with a Spinal Tap 2. And I thought it was an April Fool's joke. But apparently it's true. It's on
IMDb.
It's in production right now, and Variety magazine confirmed it, and they have cameos back and everything. So I am hoping for Ann Drescher, and I've got a whole list that I'm hoping. So anyway,
that's great news.
So excited.
So there is a guest instrument on this song and a guest vocalist.
Is it the Peace Lady back from the dead?
That would be
amazing. So the guest instrument is the rain drum, which is a drum filled with ball bearings that you then move around.
I have one.
Kevin says that you can hear it especially in the outro.
Oh, I know who the guest is.
I'll put a little bit of that in.
I cheated a little.
Who's the guest?
Go ahead.
Yeah, please,
Betsy. Lyle. Ed's son, Lyle.
Lyle Crocodile?
That's what I thought. Crocodile. The way, Heidi. I was like, Lyle Crocodile?
They beat up a crocodile and recorded the sounds and looped it.
Nice.
Was Lyle
what does a crocodile sound make? I don't know.
Was Lyle playing?
I never stuck around to find out. I don't know.
I don't live in Florida. I don't want to work.
Let Aaron speak.
Those are gators, not crocodiles. That's right.
Was Lyle playing the violin solo? Is that
he was not? So he was in the studio just listening one day. He just happened to be there, and he was in the recording not in the recording booth. He was in the studio in the back room, mixing room, and he was randomly singing a neat little part in the corner, and Kevin's like, "Do you want to come over here and
when
sing
you do
that?"
it in Kevin's voice. Hey, Lyle. I can't do it.
And Lyle was actually like, "No, do I have to?"
Yes, he did.
And then when his dad came in the room, he's like, "They asked me to sing it. I didn't."
Who is Lyle?
Want to. He's like trying to verify. It's Ed's son. Our oldest son, I think.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
I love the nerdism. It's fantastic. I mean, I would be like this if I was doing an Indigo Girls podcast, quite frankly.
Well,
We
Thessaly.
need one of those.
Thessaly, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that you are probably a Pink Floyd fan.
I'm of course. Who's not? I mean, isn't everybody a Pink Floyd fan? I wouldn't call myself
Yeah.
a super fan, but in
I-
high school,
I
I
would
most
hope so.
certainly went and saw
Right.
laser light shows with my theater friends.
Oh,
and
yeah,
Pink
yeah,
Floyd.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I bring it up because we mentioned someone being in like the studio, like working on audio or whatnot. I don't know if Lyle was actually helping to record, but like as both an audio engineer and a huge Pink Floyd fan, I love when they get the audio engineers and the recording people onto the album. Like they had people answer like random questions out of a box for Dark Side of the Moon. That's why you hear these random
I love
voices.
that. I didn't know that trivia. Fantastic.
Like that guy, yeah. I wonder if Alan Parsons is one of those voices because he
So
actually
interesting.
produced
Well,
that
as a
album.
voiceover actor, I am always like listening to my audio engineers because I also create cartoons and like I'm like, oh, I want to cast you. I have an engineer I'm working with right now, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to have a newscaster role to like cast you in because he has this amazing newscastery voice. So I know that. I know the listening to engineers or people in the studio like, let's just throw you in. It's gonna be great. Throw on these headphones. Here's a costume.
Well, I think it's about time for us to put some numbers to this. So, Thessaly, you don't know this, but what we do every week is we start to do it. We rate the song based on a 0 to 5 scale. 0 is we wished it was erased, it never made, we didn't ever have to hear it. 5 is it's on our island playlist. 4 is something that we would be like, this is a must-have. Like, we need to still be able to listen to this. It's not an island playlist, but it definitely needs to go on our Spotify playlist. So that's kind of our 2.5 is the midway. I'll hand it over to one of my co-hosts first and let them talk so you can kind of get a feel of it. Why don't I go with you first, Heidi? What is your break? Oh, we need a rating system.
Yeah. How many blanks out of 5?
I think out of all the people we talked about today, we have to do some reference to the person the song is about. We have to do how many Paulines do we give this?
I was gonna say stolen bicycles, but I think it would be more appropriate if we said how many peace signs or how many Paulines. Yeah.
So Heidi, how many Paulines do you give this song?
Oh, perfect. Practically perfect, Pauline. I think I shall give. I really do love this song. I love Kevin's voice on this song. I love the story he tells, and I love that we've learned so much from this story. And I love music that tells stories. That's like my favorite thing to teach is the inner workings of a song. So this one is very interesting to me. Now I love that we were able to dig deeper. So I think I'm going to give this a 4.3 Paulines.
Very respectable.
4.3.
4.3 Paulines.
Just getting to the right section. Hold on 1 second. 4.3. Betsy, how about you? How many Paulines do you give this song?
Well, I also love the time signature, although I put it down as 3/4 because I'm not as well versed as you.
You could arguably call it 3/4 for sure. That's totally legit.
I like the way, I don't know what he's playing on for keys, but I like the way he kind of makes
sounds like a Rhodes.
Is that as a Rhodes? Okay.
I think.
It has kind of like a feeling of like a rain falling effect, or maybe like a peaceful traffic flow. So he's always.
That's that rain drum that Tyler was talking about.
Well, that's something totally different, but I still like it.
Yeah.
And there's like, passing, whooshing sounds of traffic that they put in there. And there's like definitely some soft brushes on the cymbal. And I don't know, it's a really nice tribute to someone who was, deserving of that attention and had a lot of good references of the local colorful folk, celebrities and whatnot. So I give it a 3.7.
Okay. What about you, Aaron? How many Paulines do you give this song?
Well, it's interesting, right? I really, really like this tune. It's by far my favorite of the tunes we've covered post, the original A Lot of Material. So the 2 new albums that we've been covering, this is my favorite by far. So I did give Santa Sabbath, although I guess that wasn't from one of the new albums, but I did give Santa Sabbath 4.05. I love that because of the Black Sabbath reference, but honestly, I think I dig this song a little more. It's pretty chill. It's very relaxing. Like Betsy was saying, it's almost like ASMR. It'd be a good song to fall asleep to. And I mean that in the best possible way. I could arguably make that a negative comment, but no, this is very positive. Like it's very relaxing. I can feel my blood pressure lowering when I listen to it. And it's just very, very peaceful, which is appropriate, programmatic even. So I really like it. It's going on my best of playlist, so I'm going to award the Peace Lady 4.2 Paulines out of 5.
Okay, all right. Thessaly, I think you kind of have the feel for what we're doing here now. Well,
I thought it was a beautiful song. I don't know if I'd put it on a Spotify. I might put it on a Spotify playlist. I don't know. I'm very sort of snobby about what music I listen to, like pretty exclusively Mountain Goats and Bill and Sebastian these days. Yeah, I'm a huge Mountain Goats fan. That's my favorite
Love
band, actually. That's the podcast I would be an expert in. I could sit here and talk about Mountain Goat songs like you guys are talking about.
John Darnielle, we know you listen.
He's amazing. I've been a fan since the 90s. But I thought this was a really beautiful song, and I am a huge fan of these stories you've told. Like, these stories are fantastic and make the song better. I'm going to give it, it's between definitely, the 3 to 4. Like, I'm maybe at a 3.8 Pauline or maybe a 4 Pauline. It's a beautiful song. I'm a fan. It's not an earworm, like an earworm. Like, I'm an earworm person. Like, that's probably why I love the Mountain Goats. Like, I cannot stop singing the earworms. So an earworm would take it to 5. 3.9, 4, 3.8 to 4. If I get a free cookie, I'll bring it up.
So that leaves me. I like the song. It's cool. It's relaxing. Like you said, Aaron, it's actually one that I think I would put onto my kids' sleep list to help them fall asleep. Like, it really is relaxing in a good way. And Tyler said that this is the perfect ending to a record. And for once, just this once, I am going to agree with him that I think this is a great way to end this album. The only part of the song that I really don't like, and it's not a hate, it's a dislike, the trouble with Tracy, is the end where he repeats
totally agreed
6 times in a row.
I did think the end was a little long.
And it's sort of a cop-out to just let it slither on, unless it's something like, I don't know, like a dance song where you're just like, keep dancing. It's a little bit of a cop-out to not like wrap it up.
Yeah, I could be okay with it continuing on slowly, but the Peace Lady, I'm like, nope,
Totally
don't. That ruined it.
I'm glad you brought that up because that annoyed me too.
Peace lady, peace lady, peace lady, peace lady, peace lady, peace lady.
It feels good to be annoyed.
But other than that, I really enjoy this song. So I'm going to give it a 3.5. Thessaly, you have been a treasure to have on. Thank you so much for joining.
You guys, thank you for having me. It's really fun to chat with people. I feel like, when you're a freelancer, I'm like, ooh, I want to be a professor. I want to do things with people. Like, it's great. Thank you. I had a good time. You guys are hilarious. And
we are so glad you joined us, Thessaly.
Yes, it was wonderful to talk with you.
And if you like all this music, I think you'll like my music. It's really weird.
Plugs.
My new album is called.
Yeah, in the chat.
You
got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where can people
let's
plug it in the show? Where can people
the
find your
Ukulady
stuff?
is all streaming everywhere. THEUKULADY. My new album is called Sing Your Feelings Part 1, Precious Moments with Chunky Rodents. Part 2 is coming soon. It's Dove on Fire, and Part 3 will be.
Oh, to Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I mean, who's not in love?
Ditties and titties. This is going to be my listen to work
I
tomorrow.
like it.
I'm giving him a podcast tomorrow.
Well, I also have podcasts. I have these 3 really, really epic narrative podcasts, which is nice because they're limited. You're not like, oh my God, there's 300 episodes. There's 12 episodes, and there's stories about famous counterculture hippies and the counterculture. And then if you have a kid, I do have Toon Tales, a podcast for kids. And so they can find me on the Instagram.com/theukulady, Instagram.com/theukulady shorts. I make lots of videos of the ukulele. I mean, we've plugged it. Precious Moments with Chunky Rodents. That's the song. The album.
Is that a reference to like
of unusual size?
chinchillas? Chinchillas are kind of chunky.
Are USs? I don't think they're real, Betsy.
Me and my man Panyan the Ukulad became obsessed with prairie dogs on Instagram. They are so cute and plump and chunky. I can't even. And I love, so it's really about that. It's that precious moment you're sharing on Instagram with your favorite plump rodent.
And then you also have Rainbow Valentine.
Yes, Rainbow Valentine is my podcast studio. That has links to all my podcasts, and people can, on all the streaming platforms. So whatever your streaming platform of choice is. We've got Disorganized Crime Smuggler's Daughter, which is my crazy autobiographical story of finding out my parents were huge pot smugglers, which I didn't know about. We have Wavy Gravy's life story called American Prankster, which is really a deep dive into the counterculture and a deep dive into the history of the beatniks and how the subculture of the hippies even emerged. And then we have Patch Adams' life story, and that's the story of how a suicidal misfit got nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Like, what the fuck? Like, how did that happen? So those are there. And then I'm going to be releasing some new podcasts soon. Psychedelic Women, which is stories from the women of the counterculture. Like, we know about the dudes. What were the women doing? Oh my God, that was my mom. And, just belly dancing on stage with Santana and dosing everyone. And I mean, crazy stories. My mom gave Janis Joplin that fur hat she's famous in. That's my mom's hat.
Oh, wow.
Shut the front door.
Really, I know, I didn't know it when I was a kid.
Dude!
It's just...
Man. I'm working this summer is I'm committed to putting together a new course for next fall about kick-ass women in the history of music. And just talking about the inspiration of female and how we were empowered through music history, especially through the counterculture movement. So, I can't wait to listen to some of that. That's
diving into editing that one soon. It's I have all the audio because I had to get it before they're old. They're in their 80s. I archived it. The pandemic was great because all these old hippies had to learn to Zoom and they had nothing to do. So I just have to buckle down and edit it. My podcasts are highly produced. I need some robots to help me, or teen interns. Send me your teen interns or college student interns. So that's what I'm up to.
They'll have an AI thing to do that for you soon, I'm sure.
Well, thank you for taking some of that time that you should have been editing to join us. We really
it's a joy. Thank you so much, you guys. I had fun. You guys are funny.
Yay!
Guys, we did so many discussions tonight about and breakdowns about people.
Wait for it.
And we get to talk about another person next week.
Segway lowing.
We get to talk. I'm backing it up, yeah. We get to talk about a jazz legend next week. And I'm actually really excited for that. So come back next week and we're going to discuss Paul Chambers.
Ooh. Nice.
Thanks.
Sorry, that was my jazz trumpet for you. There you go.
But yeah, no, thanks again so much, Thessaly, for coming on. This has been really a blast. I love talking with you, and this has been a lot of fun.
I had a great time, and I learned so much, and I have great stories to tell.
Rock Lobster. Rock Lobster. Bye.
Oh, it's converting. Okay. Oh, hit stop.
It's NFL draft season, and that means it's time to start thinking about fantasy football. FantasyPoints.com features industry-leading experts and prognosticators using proprietary hand-charted data to help you score more fantasy points. FantasyPoints.com is the place to go for whatever kind of fantasy football you play. Whether you play fantasy football, daily fantasy sports, or do a little bit of everything, Fantasy Points has the meticulously researched content to guide you to victory. And why wait for the fall? Fantasy Points also covers the new spring football league, the UFL. Join the guru, John Hansen, Scott Barrett, Joe Dolan, and other massive names in the fantasy football universe with an exclusive offer. Use code Pantheon for 15% off any Fantasy Points package, including the all-in package, with access to every article, tool, and data nugget that Fantasy Points has to offer. That's FantasyPoints.com and code Pantheon for 15% off at Fantasy Points. FantasyPoints.com, code Pantheon. Score more fantasy points.